You know, when we want to get a read on the American consumer, we usually look at the big guys, right? Like Walmart or Amazon. But what if one of the best ways to understand a huge part of the country is through a store that sells chicken feed and zero-turn mowers? Today, we're digging into the latest report from Tractor Supply, because what they're seeing tells us a ton about the life out here economy.
Look, retail is a tough game right now. Every company is fighting for every single dollar. So when a company like Tractor Supply puts out its numbers, it's more than just a report card for them. It's a real signal about the spending habits and, honestly, the confidence of millions of Americans living that rural lifestyle.
So let's do it. Let's unpack the key numbers, what's going on with their customers, and the big strategic moves they're making. And what you're going to see is a really fascinating story about being resilient and, frankly, just being a smart shopper.
All right, so first things first. Did they have a good quarter? And the answer is a definite yes. As their CEO, Hal Lawton, said, the team delivered a strong third quarter, and it was pretty much right on the money with what they were expecting.
Okay, here's the big number, the one everyone looks at first. They hit a third quarter record, $3.72 billion in net sales. That's a 7.2% jump from this time last year. So the question is, how'd they do it?
Now, that jump in total sales is great, for sure. But the real story on this slide, the thing that gets analysts excited, is that turnaround in what's called comp sales. Just look at that. It went from being slightly down last year to being up almost 4% this year. That swing is a huge sign of a healthy business. But to really get why, you gotta know what that term even means.
So comparable store sales, or comp sales for short, is super important for any retailer. What it does is it ignores all the growth you get from opening brand new stores. It just asks a simple question. Are the stores that were already open a year ago doing better now? And a positive number, especially 3.9%, tells you that yes, more people are walking into their existing stores and spending more money. It's real organic growth.
Okay, so the numbers look good. We've established that. But the story behind those numbers, well, that's all about the customer. So who is this life out here shopper, and what are they telling us with their wallets? The CEO really nailed it with this quote. Their customer isn't just someone who pops in for a random item. They are deeply, deeply connected to a lifestyle, and Tractor Supply is a key part of that. And that loyalty, man, it is paying off. And this isn't just some vague feeling. They have the receipts to prove it. First, a record number of customers came through the doors in Q3. Second, get this, their loyalty program, the Neighbors Club, is now responsible for over 80% of all their sales. And maybe the most impressive stat of all, their customer satisfaction scores have gone up for 17 quarters in a row. That's almost 4.5 years of them just getting better and better at what they do. But here's the thing, loyalty doesn't mean people are just spending money like crazy. When you actually look at what they're buying, a really clear picture emerges. You see a very disciplined consumer. It's really a tale of two different shopping baskets. So first, they got a little help from Mother Nature. The company described what they called the bathtub effect. It's a fun name, but basically summer just lasted longer this year. And that pushed some of the sales that would have happened in the spring into July, giving the third quarter a nice little boost right out of the gate.
Okay, now this slide. This tells you everything you need to know about the consumer's mindset right now. Look at that left column, the stuff that's selling well. It's all about needs. It's livestock and pet supplies, tractors, mowers, things for the garden. But then you look at the right column, the softer stuff, and you see where people are being cautious. Recreational vehicles, grills, big-ticket items. Basically the want-to-haves, not the need-to-haves.
So here's the bottom line. The rural consumer is spending, and spending confidently, on the things they absolutely need to fuel their lifestyle. You know, the animal feed, the garden supplies, but they're definitely thinking twice before they pull the trigger on those big, non-essential upgrades. They're being practical. They're being focused.
So, knowing all this about their customer, what's the game plan for Tractor Supply? Well, they're not just sitting still. They are doubling down on what makes them so essential to that life out here lifestyle. Let's check out their key moves.
Their whole strategy is about getting even tighter with their best customers. So first, they have a new direct sales team just for their biggest big barn clients. Second, they're beefing up their final mile delivery, bringing things right from the local store to your door. And third, they're pushing hard into the online pet and animal prescription business, which is just a huge and growing market.
And that pet category, it's a perfect example of their strategy. Their specialty store, PetSense, just hit its 20th anniversary. And they're using a company they recently bought, the online pharmacy Olivet, to build this powerful one-stop shop for everything you need for animal wellness. It's a really smart play.
And listen, this isn't just some theory they're testing out. That direct sales program, it's already crushing it. They have reps covering over 300 stores now, and they're bringing in more than $200,000 in new sales every single week. This strategy is already making them money.
So what does all this add up to for the near future? Well, the company gave a really clear financial outlook, and it gives us a pretty good idea of how confident they're feeling for the rest of this year and into the next.
Okay, take a look at this table. You'll see they narrowed their guidance for the year. Now, you might hear that and think it's a bad thing, but in the world of finance, it's actually the opposite. It's a sign of confidence. See, a really wide range means there's a lot of uncertainty. When a company tightens that range up, it means they have a much clearer picture of what's coming, and they're confident they can hit those numbers.
And they're even looking ahead to next year, saying they expect a more normalized year. After all the craziness of the last few years, normal sounds pretty good, right? For them, that means getting back to business, opening another 100 new stores, and really focusing on improving their profitability.
So what's the big takeaway here? Well, Tractor Supply's success story, which is really built on the back of this loyal and super practical customer, suggests that this part of the economy is incredibly durable. It shows us a consumer who keeps investing in their lifestyle and their needs, even when they're being careful everywhere else. Which kind of leaves us with a fascinating question to chew on. In a world that's always changing, maybe the most resilient part of the entire retail landscape isn't in the big cities or online, but it's out here,